Hello and welcome back to Podium Pop. My name is Celine and I'm here with my co-host Gracie. We have another fun and exciting episode where we are going to do another deep dive into our predictions for 2025. But this time we're going to talk about IndyCar. Before we get started on today's episode, make sure you are following us on social media. We post our episodes on Spotify and on YouTube. Still working on Apple Music. And we also post quite a bit on TikTok and on Instagram. Mm-hmm. So make sure you're following us on there. We've been doing a couple fun extra videos, like a Meet the Rookies video where we talk about Gabby Bortoletto's career up until he starts Formula One. We have another one coming out this week about Isaac Hadjar. So make sure you're following us on social media to keep up with when we get those posted. Mm-hmm. We do post our podcast episodes every Monday, so you know that you have those consistently as well. Yes. Let's go ahead. Let's pop the bottle. Let's get right into it.
Let's do it. All right, we're talking IndyCar predictions.
Woo, guys, IndyCar is actually starting so soon.
No, it's so soon.
And I, for one, am very excited.
I can't wait.
St. Pete will be here before we know it.
I know. St. Pete's also going to give us a lot of FOMO.
Yeah, so we are not going to St. Pete this year, and it's heartbreaking because we have a lot of friends going.
Yeah, a lot.
And it's also just been so long since we've been to an IndyCar race, aka it's been like less than a year because we went in September to the season finale in Nashville. Mm-hmm. But it feels like forever.
I know. It does feel like forever. September was a long time ago.
No, honestly it was.
Especially when you think about it compared to like Formula One ending in December. Like,
we've actually been so brave. We've been really brave about it. But we will not be going to St. Pete this year unless something crazy happens. No, we're not going.
No,
we're not
going.
Just kidding. No, we're not going to St. Pete. We actually, our first IndyCar race planned as of right now isn't until the Indy road course.
Yeah.
So that's going to be tough to get through, personally. But it'll be fine.
Yeah, well, at least we have each other to get through it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're going to start off strong right off the bat. Predictions. Who do you think is going to win the IndyCar championship? Is Alex Palou going to win it?
I think no.
I think no as well.
I think, and I actually didn't think this until I listened to, shout out to Outside Line Media, their podcast. Mm-hmm. It's our friends, Ryan and Patrick, have that podcast. And they're talking about it, and they actually really convinced me that this is Scotty Mac's year.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I saw that we're talking about Scotty Mac a lot.
Normally, I am not one to support Penske, personally, but I do think Penske has been looking really good so many years that I think eventually they're bound to get a win, and I personally hope it's Scotty Mac.
I love that.
On that team, yeah.
I think it's going to be Colton.
I would also,
yeah.
Who I think is going to win, Scotty Mac. Who I want to win would be Colton.
I love that.
So I'm down for that 100%.
I think the younger guys are gonna come in and kind of
they're gonna shake things
up for sure.
There are some people there, like right now with the driver lineup is leaning more towards the younger crew.
Yeah.
And then we have similar to F1 where most of them are younger, and then we have a couple of those older ones that have been in for a while and they're still doing great. Like Will Power is still getting plenty of wins. Scott Dixon, these people, they're still performing at the level they need to be performing.
I'm not counting them out.
But yes. I do think that eventually they're going to kind of be pushed out by the younger groups in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that year is going to be, if this is the year that's going to be pretty obvious that, like, okay, we need to make more room for new talent kind of thing.
Yeah.
If the rookies come in and kill it. Which we have some really good rookies coming in this year.
Yeah, we really do. It's going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we're just gonna have a lot of new things this year. Watch me be like completely wrong.
I mean, we have the new charter system.
Yeah, we do have the new charter
That's
system.
gonna really, change some things around. We have the new team, a whole new team coming in, Prema, which I don't think they're gonna be very competitive this year at all. With just like the fact that they're coming in never having done an oval race before is already going to put them multiple feet behind people.
Yeah.
But it's just, a lot of new things coming in, new drivers, new teams, new rules.
Yeah.
Dua Lipa. New rules.
You better count them. All right. Who from each team do we think is going to score the most points?
Okay. Should we go team by team?
Yes.
Okay.
We are going to start off with AJ Foyt Racing. We have David Malukas and Santino Ferrucci.
I think David Malukas is the one to watch on that team.
I agree.
Not just saying that because on a personal level, I like David Malukas more than Ferrucci, but I think in actuality, like, David Malukas was performing in, you know, the Meyer-Shank really well, and I think that he has a lot of potential. There are talks about him eventually moving into Penske to replace Will Power whenever that time comes, whether that be next year, 5 years from now, whatever. So I think they're putting a lot of eggs in his basket.
I think they are.
I think that they are going to... I don't think they're going to give him better strategy over Ferrucci, but I think they're going to maybe prioritize him a bit, which will lead him already. I think he would have been successful without them, but I do think that
I agree.
He'll kind of do great this year. I'm hoping. I want him to get his first win this year.
I know.
I mean, it's going to be hard in AJ Foyt car, but if anyone can do it,
I think it's him.
Yeah.
All right, next. Whoopsies. Andretti.
Okay.
So mine has to be Colton.
Colton, yeah. I love Kyle Kirkwood, and I think that Kyle's never been far off of Colton's pace, but I think he oftentimes gets overshadowed by Colton just being a little bit more consistent with his racing.
Yeah.
So while I think Colton is going to be the top points scorer for Andretti, I think that there are going to be times where Kyle has more standout moments, where maybe he has more, like, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't say more race wins, but I think he'll have, like, really good moments. But with the consistency, I think Colton's got it.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. How do you think Marcus Ericsson's going to do?
I don't know, because, I mean, Marcus Ericsson, you know, obviously won the Indy 500. He came in so strong, and he's just kind of been a little, not forgettable, but again, he gets very overshadowed by his two teammates. Yeah. He doesn't have as big of a personality, which makes it difficult. He hasn't been scoring how him and Andretti's been wanting him to score the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So I do wonder how many more years Andretti's going to give him until they possibly look into replacing him with newer talent. Maybe some of the rookies that are coming in this year, if they come in and perform like in some of these like cars that are mostly more towards the back, is Andretti going to see that as an opportunity and say, hey, let's hop on it and let's give, you know, Louis Foster a seat while they still have a chance. Louis Foster coming in from the Andretti in Indy next Andretti driver. So I wonder if there's like a part in the contract that says that they can bring him up.
I don't know.
Interesting.
That's a good question.
But I do think that he needs to kind of perform this year if he's wanting to continue driving for Andretti.
Yeah, I definitely agree. No notes.
No notes.
All right.
Just do a little better.
Yeah.
That's the note.
Our one note. On to Arrow McLaren.
Okay. Pato.
So, yeah, we have Christian Lundgaard, Pato O'Ward, Nolan Siegel.
Pato, I think, he's the head honcho on the team. You know, Nolan drove for Arrow McLaren like half the season last year, and Christian drove for RLL last year. So Pato's kind of the senior on the team, which is funny because he's literally only 25 years old. Yeah. But I think a lot of people are looking at Pato as another one that's going to be in contention for the championship this year.
Yeah,
so because of that, I think he's obviously going to do better. Now, it would be crazy.
It'd be insane. If
Nolan or Christian came in absolutely dominated this year. That would shake some things up in McLaren, for sure.
Really would. What are we thinking about the number 6? Are we going to have another fiasco with that? Or is, like, Zach Brown done?
I think he's done. Nolan's the number 6, right? And because Christian's the number 7.
Yeah.
So I think he's done.
Okay.
But it would be funny for him to continue being like chaotic with the number 6 car.
Yeah.
But I think they like Nolan a lot, and I think that
really
they see Nolan having a really successful future as an IndyCar race car driver. So while he wasn't, you know, doing amazing in his first half season, I think they're going to give him the benefit of the doubt and maybe nurture him a little bit more than they were giving some of the other drivers that were in the number 6 car last year a chance to.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's the case. I don't know the backstory behind it.
Yeah.
But I do think that they're giving him a little bit more grace than they gave, obviously, David Malukas and, Teo and all of them. So
yeah, for sure. That's still so insane. Crazy.
Very crazy.
All right, Chip Ganassi, Scott Dixon, Alex Palou, and Kiffin Simpson.
I think Alex Palou's got it. I think Scott Dixon will be behind him, and I think Kiffin is going to be behind them.
Yeah, it's kind of like Scott is obviously like the GOAT of NASCAR. NASCAR.
Whoa!
I was too caught up in I never say GOAT, so I was
she was thrown off by a goat coming out of her mouth. She's like, why did I say that?
Anyway.
The GOAT. But he is the GOAT.
No, he is. He's
of
the
IndyCar,
though. Yeah.
People know his name.
Oh, yeah.
When they're like IndyCar, they're like Scott Dixon.
For sure. But I feel like Palou's just...
He's dominating.
He's phenomenal.
He is in, hopefully not, but he is near, and if not in, the peak of his career. Mm-hmm. He is so strong. He's so consistent. He's literally, we were actually talking about him because he drove in the Daytona 24-hour race. And we're like, he's one of those guys that like kind of flies under the radar. Like, he'll literally be like, we talked about in, I forget which race it was last year. I think.
Milwaukee.
It was Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Where like he spun out in the formation lap or stalled during the formation lap. Mm-hmm. And then out of nowhere, like he was already so far behind. And then out of nowhere, he's like literally like up near the front of the race. And you're like, where did he come from?
It's insane.
And the same thing he did it in Daytona where his team was like a couple of laps down because of some issues with the car. And then out of nowhere, he popped up back near the front. I'm like, how does he do this every time? Like people are like, crazy. Oh, he's just so under the radar. I think, that it works, but yeah, I think he'll have a really successful year. But I am interested to see how Kiffin does because there was so much controversy with the charter system coming in. They could only have 3 drivers.
They previously had 5.
Yeah, so there was already some cuts that were made. They moved Marcus Armstrong over to Meyer Shank, mm-hmm. and then they did not continue. Linus Lundqvist did not get a seat. So Kiffin got a seat over Marcus and over Linus. And I don't want to say it's fully because of funding, but I do think that had played a big part in it.
Yeah.
A very big part in it. So I wonder how much grace they're going to give him. Mm-hmm. And like, obviously they're going to give him a little bit more grace because of the sponsors he brings. Yeah. But how much grace can they give him if he doesn't perform this year? And you have, Marcus Armstrong killing it and Meyer Shank.
Absolutely.
Or, again, some of the new rookies coming in absolutely killing it. Like, how much can they give him? Mm-hmm. So I think he is another one that really needs to step up this year and show that he can perform.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just, it's crazy to me that, like, if you looked at driving alone, I think Linus would be in that seat over Kiffin.
No, 100% he would have.
Yeah. Linus got Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And it was a real shame that he wasn't able to secure another IndyCar seat anywhere.
Oh, there's still one open.
There's still one open, yeah, for Dale Coyne. Wow, I didn't even think about him possibly going to Dale Coyne.
I know.
There's so many question marks about that seat, and, we're only, 3 weeks away from St. Pete?
Yeah.
So, like, Dale Coyne, if you're listening, could you just, like, tell us?
You could actually...
Yeah, there's some drivers available here. For anyone listening on Spotify, I'm pointing at my PHO Fittipaldi shirt. Mm-hmm. But there's some drivers available still.
No, there absolutely are. You guys could just go ahead and tell us.
We'll just let us know. We'll share it with the media.
You don't have to.
We'll break the news.
Yeah. Like, you're looking for something new to do. It's your whole bid, I get it, but like we could announce it for you.
We could announce it for you. Yeah, so it'd be so cool, so fun.
Imagine we both were like, the hell's Podium Pop? We're like, and announcing. Like, really, girls. Kyle Kirkwood sees it and he's like, oh god, not them. It's like, I know them.
These girls never leave me alone. But yeah, no, I think Kiffin needs to step up this year.
Mm-hmm. So next was Dale Coyne Racing, when right now all we know for Dale Coyne Racing is Jacob Abel.
I think Jacob Abel is going to be great. It's because right now he has no competition.
He has no competition in this
Who
team.
do you think? I mean, there's so many people that could move into the Dale Coyne seat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Catherine Legg. I think it's kind of already been.
I believe she is a part of another series.
Yes,
already.
I think so as well. But Catherine Legg drove for him last year. Jack Harvey.
Yeah.
Drove for him last year. There's so many other IndyCar drivers from last year that don't have a seat, like Renus, VK, Pietro Fittipaldi.
Jack Harvey, sorry to interrupt, is doing the Dreyer and Raybolt Racing 500, right? Or who was that?
Oh, no, I think it is Jack Harvey.
I think so.
So he couldn't do it for Dale Coyne, I guess.
Yeah. I well and truly, not to get your hopes up, I well and truly believe it's going to be the Fittipaldi brothers, and Pietro's doing the ovals and Enzo's doing the road and street courses.
Like,
no, truly, like, I don't know. I feel it in my bones. And
I would
sure,
love that.
maybe I'm a little biased.
A little biased, yeah. I will say, Enzo was like streaming, and I was in his commenting, and they were talking about IndyCar, and I commented something, and I was just like, how cool would it be if you and Pietro both drove for Dale Coyne Racing? And he looked at it and he goes, Podium Pop, that would be pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he was just egging me on a little bit, but I'm going to choose to believe that there's some truth to that. And if I don't want Pietro to not have a full seat in IndyCar, like if he's in IndyCar, I want him to have a full seat all the races, which that'd be preferred. But if he had to share his car and his seat with anyone, I need it to be Enzo.
I guess I also think it's so much just because I love the whole PR and social media side of all of it would be so good. I feel like.
Gosh.
I think that's what my brain was immediately thinking. They would get just so much, so much eyes on them from that.
Yeah, and also the way that like the Fittipaldi brothers work is that almost all of like Pietro's sponsors also sponsors Enzo, because a lot of them are Brazilian-based companies. And so I think that the sponsorship would be interesting because, like, when you look at it in the past where, like, Catherine Legg and Jack Harvey were sharing the car, or, like, with Nolan Siegel, like, they were sharing the car. Nolan Siegel was also in the car for Dale Coyne, right? At some points? I don't know. I think I made that up.
Yes, he did, because when Jack Harvey couldn't race in Detroit.
So with all of that, though, I do wonder, because, like, the sponsors would go back and forth depending on the driver, but with having the both of them, the only two kind of sharing the car, I do think that would be really successful for Dale Coyne to have consistent, easy sponsorship for one car throughout the whole year rather than it kind of flip-flopping. Yeah. And they bring in a lot of great, successful sponsors.
They do.
And they're both... Well, Pietro's doing IMSA. Right now, Enzo, I don't think has anything lined up for this year, which again makes me think that maybe he is doing something with IndyCar.
Maybe. Because
I think he could have found another racing series to do.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he had to drop out of F2 because of funding, but, like, there's other racing series that he could have joined. Like, I could have seen him join, like, Elms or something like that.
Also, like, I feel like Pietro was suspiciously quiet, being like, I didn't get the RLL seat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In fact, another thing, like, in the comments, people would be like, oh, we're going to miss you in IndyCar, we're going to miss you in IndyCar, and he kept saying, well, I can do both. Yeah. And there is some, like, lapping IMSA and IndyCar races, but not all of them require all of the IMSA races. There's 4 people on the team. Like, another example is like Callum Ilott is on the team for Pratt Miller.
Oh, that's full time?
I don't know.
I thought it was just Daytona.
But I don't know who, like, how many people. I'm still learning IMSA, by the way. So if you know the answer, let me know. But, like, I don't know what the official full team is. Like, if it's 3 people, if it's 2 people, I don't know. Because all of the... I know Pietro is a full-time member, but I think not all of the races... Oh, okay, so he was just an add-on.
I think so.
But not all of the races require all 3 drivers. Like, some of them are only, like, a 2-hour-long race.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what the deal is with that. But we're going to figure it out all together.
We'll figure it out all together.
And my fingers are crossed that I will be able to see Pietro in an IndyCar race this year, and I am not giving up hope about that until
Holding strong.
Until Dale Coyne announces who's in that car. And you know what? Even then...
You know what's going to happen, actually? Dale Coyne's announcing it tomorrow. After we fully record this and we fully upload it at noon, there's going to be a Dale Coyne announcement.
The thing is that I would be okay with that, though.
No,
because I just want to know.
Yeah, I just want to know.
And, you know, the toxic part about me is that, like, even if the Dale Coyne seat gets announced and it's, like, Renus, I would still be like, well... What if someone starts doing bad? They could put Pietro in halfway through the season. And the thing is about me is I'll never give up that hope. Like, I think I'm still going to be, like, convinced that by the end of the season, Pietro, like, pretty much until, like, Nashville, I will be convinced that Pietro will be in an IndyCar seat.
And you know what? I love that hope that you have.
Thank you. It's not healthy, but it's me, so.
Yeah. You're so real. Let's talk about Ed Carpenter Racing, Christian Rasmussen, and Alexander Rossi.
Listen, I do think Alexander Rossi is going to be more successful on the track, but can we take a moment?
Oh, we can.
Actually, let's take several moments.
Several.
And discuss how Christian Rasmussen is absolutely killing the social media game lately.
100%.
Like, Christian Rasmussen has really actually been... flying under the radar last year.
Yeah.
As far as, like, with social media and everything. And it really does feel like out of nowhere this year.
He's popping off.
He's popped off so much.
It's so good.
Yeah. And I do, so, like, while I think Alexander Rossi is going to perform really well on the track, just because of, you know, general history. He's an Indy 500 winner. Of course, he's going to kind of have that experience over Christian Rasmussen.
Yeah.
And also, Christian last year was sharing the seat with Ed Carpenter.
Yes.
Which definitely made that where he wasn't getting as much experience.
We'll have to see how he does on ovals this year.
I really am interested because now they'll have, you know, the 3 cars in. Are 3 cars still?
Well, they're doing 2 cars and then Ed's doing the 500.
Oh, okay. For Christian?
Ed is being an adult.
Oh, he's doing a 3rd car for the 500. Okay. Also, I love their race suits, and everyone that's mad about the different colors of the Splenda suit.
It's funny.
It's hilarious because they're different colors on purpose.
Yeah.
And I, for one, I'm a big fan.
I think it's hilarious.
I love the different yellows of Splenda.
It's great.
It's great.
All right, JHR. We have Connor Daly and Stingray Robb.
I think Connor Daly is going to kill it.
I think so too.
He's proven himself over and over and over and over and over again with him being the super sub that not only is he a great race car driver, but he's also able to adapt quickly to a new car.
Absolutely.
He has experience driving for JHR in the past. Stingray Robb is coming into a new team, a new car, and he's also a paid driver. So
I was going to say, Stingray Robb, I love you to death, but Pray.com loves you to death as well.
Yes. So I do think that there's really not going to be any competition. I think already Connor Daly would be really good. And again, he's literally gotten a podium for them. And he was only a partial driver for them last year. So I'm excited to see what he can do with a full IndyCar season on the same team.
Like, there was a lot of talk of who was going to get the JHR seats, and I feel like he got it, and he deserved it. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm really excited for him.
Yeah. Hey, was that Pray.com comment mean?
No. Okay. It's the truth.
It is the truth. Okay. On to Meyer Shank Racing. Felix Rosenquist and Marcus Armstrong.
See, this is one where I am actually not sure who's going to take the lead in this.
Yeah.
I think it's hard because whenever you compared Fro with his other past teammates, recently he's kind of not been, like, he wasn't on par with David Malukas, but he'd have those standout moments again.
Yeah, I feel like he had a lot of good moments last year.
But Marcus Armstrong is coming in from he didn't have a great season last year, but the season before he was really successful. We obviously know he's a great race car driver.
He's with Chip Ganassi for 2 years.
Yeah, so it'll be really interesting. I think it's going to be that, I think, is the team that is going to be the closest with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, I don't know if that's going to cause tension, or Marcus Armstrong seems he seems testy, and Fro seems really chill. So I wonder how the dynamic too is. Marcus Armstrong's going to be like, dude, why did you do this? Da-da-da-da. And Fro's going to be like, oh, it's all right, buddy. Like, That's just the vibe I'm getting from that.
He's gonna hit him with the buddy so many times this season. Hey, buddy, don't even worry about it.
Like, it's kind of giving, like, Lando Oscar vibes where, like Lando's a little more high-strung about things, and he's, like, a little bit more reactive and being like, well, why did you do that? And, like, Oscar's like, you know, it was annoying, but we'll move on, try again next week. Like, I feel like that's the same energy with Marcus and Fro.
Yeah, actually, I do get that.
Yeah.
Marcus is one of my favorite drivers, but I feel like Felix is going to outscore him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it could be very close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, and again, technically, like, Marcus is moving to a new team. He's never driven a Meyer-Shank car before, where Fro has been with the team for a while. So I think well, I guess only a year. But a year is more than nothing.
Yeah.
I think that's going to help him a lot, and I think he's going to have that experience already under his belt, familiar with the car, familiar with the team members. So I think that'll help a lot.
On to Prema, our new team.
Prema! I think Callum's got it. And I'm not saying that because I'm a huge Callum fan.
Well, sorry, the two drivers are Callum Eilert and Robert Schwartzman.
So, no, we love Callum.
Yeah, we love Callum
on this channel.
I agree. I think Callum is going to, just on experience alone.
He's driven an IndyCar more than Robert is.
He didn't have a full season last year, but he filled in a couple times. He did the 500. Mm-hmm. I just think the experience alone with the car itself and the tracks is going to give him the lead.
Yeah,
I think Robert's going to do very well, though. He's a great driver.
He is a fantastic driver. He did amazing. He did Le Mans last year, right? He wasn't on the winning team, but the car that won was like the other car on his team, if that makes sense. Yeah. Well, it made sense to you. I don't know if it's going to make sense to them, but it's okay. But I think he's a fantastic driver, but I do think that if they were to be coming in with the team, not even just the drivers, but if the team had a year of experience of IndyCar under their belt, I think they would have the chance to be a lot more successful. But because they're coming in very fresh, I do really, truly hope that Prema gives them a couple of years.
I think they will.
To like develop with the team rather than being like, oh, well, they weren't competitive, let's scrap them and move on. Yeah. Because, you know, I think Prema's going to come in and they're going to think that they are going to do better than they are. I think they're coming in a little confident. Not that they're saying like we're going to win a bunch of races, but I think that they're just naturally coming in. They have this, you know, amazing racing, you know, history. That they're already going to feel a little confident than they probably, like, they've never done ovals before, and they or the guy, what's his name?
I don't think I know where you're going.
So they I'm gonna find his name for you, but they basically hired a guy who has a lot of experience with like strategy calls and basically running an IndyCar team. And he ended up leaving a couple of weeks ago, and in his like leaving, he was hired for Prema, and then he left, and in his statement he said, I am here at this team, they aren't taking any of my opinions seriously, I'm not going to stay at a team where my opinion is not being heard.
Wow.
And he left.
How did I miss that?
They talked about it on the Outside Line Media podcast.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. You talk, I'll figure out the name.
Okay. I feel like, well, I mean, you might be right then. I didn't think Prema was going to come in and win races, but I thought that they were going to have just like a good chance with Callum there. I feel like Callum, a great race car driver, and I feel like he could really help lead the team there. And honestly, a lot of people are saying that it was insane that Callum was coming from. So he did IndyCar in the last year. He did WEC and then came back to Prema. So people were like leaving the World Endurance Championship to go to IndyCar. A lot of people were like, that's crazy.
Yeah, people thought it was a bad idea.
Yeah.
The guy's name was Michael Cannon, and he was...
Oh, Michael Cannon!
Yeah. He was the head of engineering for Prema, and he left before the season was ignored, and it was left the team feeling that his advice and counsel was being ignored. And that's another reason why I think that Prema's coming in being like, we know what we're doing. Like, you don't have to tell us we know what we're doing. And people are like, no, like IndyCar, ovals especially, but IndyCar in general is completely different. And if you don't take my advice, like, you're going to fail. And I think that they're going to come in and they're going to have a pretty shitty season, which, again, any new team starting out is going to. But I just really, truly hope that it's not like them being like, well, it's easy to blame the drivers. It's like the first people that get blamed for it. So they're like, oh, let's just, you know, let's get rid of the drivers and find new drivers. And, like, I hope that that's not the case.
Me as well. We'll have to see what happens. It's going to be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, on to RLL. We have Delvin. I cannot pronounce his last name. Devlin. Oh my god, I cannot pronounce any of his names.
It is Devlin, right?
Yeah, it's Devlin. Devlin.
DeFrancesco.
Louis Foster and Graham Rahal. Who do you think is going to score the most out of all of them?
I think Louis Foster. I think he's going to come in, and I think he's going to shock some people.
I think so too.
He was so successful in Indy
good.
Next. He was an amazing race car driver. And I think that right now, comparing like with how things were, I don't know almost anything about Devlin. I'm not going to lie.
He did IndyCar. He took a break last year and did IMSA, I believe. That's all I know.
So I don't know much about him, but I do know that Graham Rahal is on the team because of his last name.
Love you to death.
He's a he's a good race car driver, but he's not at the level of talent that is needed to probably compete with these rookies coming in that are absolutely going to kill it.
I agree.
And so I mean, he's a good race car driver, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love Graham Rahal, but I just think that he's going to be overshadowed by what Louis Foster can come in and do.
I think so as well. I'm excited for Louis Foster.
I'm so excited for Louis Foster.
All right, last team. Who have we missed?
No, we don't have McLaren. Wait, don't tell me.
Okay.
Did we do Penske?
Not yet. Penske, last team. We have Scotty McLaughlin, Joseph Newgarden, Will Power. I don't know why I said Scotty McLaughlin.
Scotty Mac.
Say like Scotty Mac or Scott McLaughlin. Anyway, who do you think is going to get the most points?
I think many people expect me to say Joseph Newgarden or Will Power because Will Power was...
Well, you have to say someone.
I know.
Okay.
Okay. I'm saying people expect me to say Scott or Joseph because he won the last two Indy 500s. People expect me to say Will Power because he was second in the Drivers' Championship last year. But I'm going to say Scotty Mac.
All right.
Because I think that he's had a lot of good foundations built, and I think that he's just had some bad luck in the past. And I think that this year is his year, and I'm going mostly based off vibes. But again, the Outside Line Media podcast did convince me that it's his year, and I like that. I'm a fan of Scotty Mac. He's my favorite Penske driver. In fact, I, again, famously don't like Penske, but I love Scotty Mac. So that's who I think is going to do great this year.
I think I'll go with you and Scotty Mac.
Okay. I think, honestly, any of the Penske guys, they're also another team similar to Maya Shank where I think they're all going to be on a very close level. Because, again, they all were winning and being successful in races last year. Like I said, Joseph Newgarden won the Indy 500 for a second time 2 years in a row. And obviously Will Power is a dominant force in IndyCar as well. So, like, they're all going to be close together. So I think it really could have, like, even last year could have been any of the three. And it just so happened to work out that way. So I think that karma's going to come around and it's Scotty Mac's turn this year.
I love that. Karma is the guy in the race car.
Yeah. Bus Bros.
Why would you do that?
Just wanted to shake things up a little bit.
Shake things up. Okay. Those are our teams and who we think is going to score the highest. We were talking about the 500. Who do you think is going to get pole position for the 500?
Colton.
Ooh.
I think Colton's going to get pole.
Okay. I said I think Pallou's going to get pole.
Okay. Interesting. I think it's kind of time that Alex Palou
it's
wins
like these
the 500.
Things for like Pato, Palou, Colton, Kyle. Like it's like dangling in front of them.
Yeah.
It's like the guy from that Progressive commercial with the dollar.
Gotta be quicker
than that. like literally.
Yeah. While I think that Colton's gonna get pole, I think...
Who do you think's gonna win?
I think Pato's gonna win.
I think Pato's gonna win.
And again, that's mostly manifestation.
For sure.
Because he gets so close. And like, me and Gracie actually attended the 500 last year.
Oh my god.
And we were there obviously rooting for Aaron McLaren. And we were rooting for Pato specifically. And that last lap, I don't know if I'll ever be able to formulate like
it was insane.
Like, I don't know if I can. I wish we were recording ourselves.
I know. We said that earlier this week.
Because the heartbreak that we faced in that last lap was like maybe the biggest like heartbreak I have felt at a motorsport race in person ever.
Absolutely.
Because like all the other races we went to, like that's definitely been the closest race that we watched.
Yeah.
And we've seen other really close races, but we've never seen any of the close races that ended in heartbreak. Like Mid-Ohio was close too.
Mid-Ohio was very,
but
very
Mid-Ohio
close.
Pato won, so it was like, okay.
Like he got taken over in the last corner.
Yeah, it was just, guys.
Truly, like we were also with two of our friends who they went for like the Indy 500 vibes.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like, wait,
They're
what?
Like,
we
were like,
but they were like, but he took over and then he won at the very last second. And we were like, no.
We also were feeling the hype and the vibes because we were surrounded by a bunch of Penske haters.
Yeah.
And so they were kind of like with us in it. They were definitely in it for other reasons.
The whole grandstand, I think so many people there as well. But I think our whole grandstand, we were all just like, no! Like you could collectively hear us.
Yeah. Like I definitely, like my eyes were watering. Like
yeah.
I almost shed a couple tears. Like
no, for sure.
It was heartbreaking.
I was thinking altitude sickness because we were at the very top.
Altitude sickness.
Shit, you not, you guys. We were so high up there. Like we were right next to the flags.
We were so high up, and we were in the middle of the grandstand.
Never
so like
again.
We couldn't like easily get in and out, and we were packed in like sardines. It was like it just got done raining, so we were like kind of like sticky from the rain, and it was like hot
and humid,
and it was humid, and
Pato
didn't win,
hours.
and we had to walk like 5 miles to get to our car afterwards, and like the moment from like the beginning of the last lap until we got back to our Airbnb at like 10 p.m. that night was like just one hit after another.
Mm-hmm.
It was so bad.
Yeah. I also, from last year's 500, obviously seeing Lando win in person was top moment. I will never, like his first win, I'll never get over that. But from the moment that yellow flag came out and Pato and Rossi were taking turns leading the lap to save fuel, it was like a synchronized dance, and then it came back and Pato was leading, and it was like, fuck, Joseph is right there. That whole moment, it was beautiful.
It was also,
I know it ended in heartbreak for a lot of people, specifically Pato and the team, but like it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
And also, so like we keep in mind, like this all happened the same month, so we watched Lando get his first McLaren win at the beginning of the month. We did attend in between these two races the Indy road course, which was pretty low key.
Polo won it by literally like 8 miles.
Yeah, it was like for our first IndyCar race, we're like, oh, okay, that was pretty good, I guess. So we were already like riding the high off of Lando's win.
Oh yeah.
And we were there, and we were rooting for another McLaren team.
Yep.
And we wanted Pato to get his first Indy 500 win, and we wanted to be there for it. And we were like, this is it. This is the moment. We're like, they were doing so good. Him and Rossi were doing so fantastic, managing fuel, all this stuff. And then Joseph Newgarden had to come in. It's like that TikTok noise. It's like, and then I hear this grating voice behind me.
Agitating, grating voice. Yes,
and
literally.
It did, I'm not going to lie, it did make me dislike Joseph Newgarden for a long time. I'm actually over that now, and I just don't like Penske in general, so it's unfortunate.
That's so fair.
I like Joseph Newgarden as a person now, and I think he's a fantastic race car driver and all of that.
Yeah.
Mad respect.
Yeah.
But when I left that race, I was cursing Joseph Newgarden's name.
Yep.
I said, that man, if I see him on the street, I won't do anything because I'm a baby. But I'll glare at him. Maybe. Actually, I wouldn't even glare at him. I'd be like, hi.
We saw him a month later at Mid-Ohio. We're like, hi.
Yeah, that's true. He was actually the first one we saw.
No, he was.
But it did make me like, be like, dang, Joseph Newgarden.
He has such a presence about him.
He gives like, if you had to like construct a race car driver from like a storybook,
it's Joseph Newgarden.
It's Joseph Newgarden.
Yeah, 100%.
Like looks wise, personality wise, like if you had to do like a good role model race car driver, that's who who would pop up. He's so confident and he's so like sure of himself that really carries over into like his race car driving. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's most successful is because he just knows what he needs to do to get the job done.
Absolutely, 100%. Okay, so while we're talking about the 500, an oval, Alex Palou has not won an oval race in the 5 years he's been in IndyCar. Do you think he's going to break that curse?
I do.
I agree.
It's not like he's done bad in oval races.
No.
He just hasn't gotten a win. So I do think that he is going to break that this year.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well. Might as
Easy
well,
peasy.
you know? Mm-hmm.
Gotta get it done.
I have a fun question prediction.
Okay.
Who do you think is going to be tasked with singing the national anthem at the Indy 500?
Oh.
Because last year it was Jordan Sparks.
It was Jordan Sparks.
So it's not like this. It's not going to be anyone huge.
No, but it's Indy 500.
It's the Indy 500, so
It
I don't know
could be
why
someone
they
huge.
haven't gotten anyone bigger, but...
I think they've had some pretty notable people sing it.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, not that Jordan Sparks isn't amazing, but like she hasn't really been doing much in her career. So where did she come from?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Let's look real quick. I think it's going to be a country artist.
Okay.
And
Maybe Kelsey Ballerini.
I was going to say that.
Really?
Yeah, Kelsey Ballerini.
Whoa, she's one of the only country artists I can name off the top of my head. So
maybe like, let me think, like, who's like Jordan Sparks-esque level? Or maybe a little higher.
Fergie. I don't think they'll let her sing the national anthem at a sporting
Ever
event
again.
ever again.
Who's singing at the Super Bowl tonight?
I don't know.
Alexa, who's singing the national anthem at the Super Bowl?
Oh,
May I ask who that is?
John Baptiste?
Yeah.
I know who it is, but I don't know how to describe him to you.
Okay. Let's see.
He's good.
500 national anthem singers. Oh, at this. Okay. Martina McBride in 2012. Sandy Patty, Leanne Rimes, Darius
A lot of country.
BB Rexa.
Okay, BB Rexa.
Get this.
Bad bitches and Rexstars only.
She had a two-peat. Miss Kelly Clarkson did 2018 and 2019.
Oh, please bring Kelly Clarkson back.
Mm-hmm.
Bring Kelly Clarkson back.
Oh my God, Jordan Fisher did it in 2022.
Wow. Is Jordan
Jewel-
Fisher from Indiana? Is that why?
Is Jordan Fisher?
That
from-
sounds right.
It does. Who's Jewel? Whoever Jewel is.
She's a country music artist.
Okay. Jamie Allen and Dr. Elvis Francis and Dr. William Robinson in 2020. Oh, 2020 was weird. 2020 was in like September, the 500 or something like that, or like August.
Okay.
Because like
Yeah.
COVID.
I think. I don't know. And then maybe you got to think about this: are they going to get someone bigger now that Fox
I know.
is like? I feel like even just in the last like couple of months, IndyCar has gotten more hype from Fox. Is Fox going to help them bring in a bigger name for the national anthem?
Could. I think it's gonna be a pop girly, and it's gonna piss people off. You know, for some reason, like real randomly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's gonna be Sabrina Carpenter, but like someone like that, and they're like, "What the fuck does Sabrina Carpenter know about the Indy 500?"
That's true.
Like I think that's
what if
gonna
any
happen.
of those are? Do you think Kelly Clarkson? Well, actually, Kelly Clarkson would.
She would
probably follow IndyCar because she's that girl.
Do you think anybody is going to get their first win this year?
I think it's gonna be a situation where like there's maybe some rain or something crazy that happens. But I would love for Louis Foster to get his first win.
Wow, first win in his rookie year.
Yeah,
Wow,
I would love that.
I mean, I would love.
I'm
absolutely.
really thinking Louis Foster is gonna come in and do great this year.
Okay.
Or I would like for Pietro to get his first win this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Tail coin.
Yes, he's gonna get it.
Yeah. So.
Well, so I predicted something that's gonna seem a little wackadoodle that everybody's gonna be like, "What?" I think Callum's gonna get it.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know nobody is throwing his name in the ring right now. Like, people are like talking about David and Marcus Armstrong a lot.
Oh, I think David's gonna get his first win.
I think David will get his first win.
Yeah.
I think Callum could do it, and like it's gonna be like an insane way type of deal. You know what I mean?
Like maybe like somebody else like was in front of them and then they get a penalty.
Yeah, or like a crash.
Maybe a last lap crash. Yeah.
I think that's going to happen.
Crazy.
Also, once again, just a little bias. Dave's going to get his first win this year.
Dave is absolutely getting his first win.
We saw, Ferrucci did good in the Foyt. Or the Foyt was doing good towards the end of last year.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Talking about our rookies. So our rookies are Jacob Abel, Louis Foster, and Robert Schwartzman. I guess there technically could be another rookie with Dale Coyne, but we're not talking about that right now. Who do you think is going to score the best / get rookie of the year? I'm assuming the person who scores the best does get rookie of the year. So who do you think that's going to be?
Louis Foster.
I agree.
I think I've said his name like a billion times on this podcast episode.
He's fantastic.
He is such a good race car driver. And it honestly kind of shocked me that he didn't get on a spot on a team higher up. I think if it wasn't for the fact that the charter system came in and shook things up around the time that they were figuring out the seats for 2025.
Yeah.
I think if that didn't happen this year, he would have gotten a seat at a higher team.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I'd be interested to see how he did on a higher team, but I think he's still going to do really good in the RLL.
I think Jacob Abel's going to do really well.
But you can only do so well in Dale Coyne.
Yeah. Those were all the predictions I wrote down.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else? If not, I have a quick bit of news to talk about.
I think in general, just the predictions, I think not racing based. Mm-hmm. I think that IndyCar is going to continue growing a lot this year.
Absolutely.
I think that we're going to see more and more of the races selling out, or not selling out, but like kind of being much more full. Mm-hmm. Especially like the races, like the more like low key races. Like I know like Mid Ohio and Indy Road Course, and those type of races don't have as many fans there. And I do wonder if this year that's going to kind of change. I know we went to Mid Ohio and Indy Road Course last year, and
like the highest attendance it's ever had.
Yeah, and Mid Ohio was so much fun.
Yeah,
and I just wonder what the vibes are going to be like this year with it continuing to grow fan bases, specifically with like the fangirls, you know?
Oh yeah, be very interesting to see. Should we talk some quick news?
Yeah, let's talk some news.
Let's talk some quick IndyCar news. I mean, we've all seen by now, and it is Super Bowl Sunday when we're recording this, that they have done 3 IndyCar on Fox ads. I think they have all been fantastic.
Yes, I love all of them.
It's like, we talked about this earlier a couple days ago, how we were like, oh, Fox is going to be like, not bad. There were a few things like the season's ending earlier because of Fox also does NFL, and like where are we going to be able to watch this? Like we were streaming it on Peacock not for free. We were like streaming it on Peacock. Like it was so easy. It was also on NBC or like USA. Like that was easy. And I think people are like, a lot of people are like just thinking about it, but Fox is doing great things.
They are putting a lot of funding into it, and they're putting a lot of focus on growing IndyCar. Mm-hmm. And I think so far I had really low expectations for Fox.
Yeah.
But I think that they're already, before the season even started, proving me wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how it continues. Like they had freaking Tom Brady in one of the commercial, in Joseph Newgarden's IndyCar commercial. And I think that they are wanting to see IndyCar be successful. So any, network that's going to want the same thing as me, which is IndyCar to get more fans and to get more publicity and get more pedigree in it, that kind of thing. And we're on the same side. So I think as of right now, I am a Fox supporter. Stan, yeah, you could say. And I hope that continues. But already we've seen a huge increase in like just the publicity surrounding it. And also there were some behind the scenes of like the media day pictures and stuff, and like budget upgrade for sure. For sure.
So speaking of money putting into this, I forget who it was. An IndyCar reporter on Twitter talked about the ads are going to play during the Super Bowl or during the Super Bowl pre-show. An IndyCar reporter came out and said that Super Bowl 30-second ads are going for $8 million right now. And I know Fox is hosting the Super Bowl, but to have 3 times 8, 32, 34, Like, that's a $34 million worth of ads that IndyCar is getting.
2 times 8 is 24.
Okay, 24. I'm dyslexic. I can't do math. But anyway, that's like a lot of money to think about it, like the ads going. That's like so much ad money that IndyCar has previously not seen in the prime time of it all.
Yeah.
Crazy. I'm just so excited.
Very excited. And I'm excited to see it. Like, I've seen it, obviously all 3 commercials.
Yeah.
On YouTube,
That's
TikTok, all that stuff.
thing.
But I'm excited to see it like live. I do wish that we would have seen it for the first time live.
I know. All of them have been, so Joseph Newgarden and Alex Palou's commercial were aired during the NFL playoffs, and then there were like whispers. They were like, we knew Pato had a commercial, and then they were like, oh, they'll be played during the Super Bowl for sure. And people were like, oh, we're gonna get surprised with Pato's commercial during the Super Bowl. I was so hyped. And then Friday morning they just released it, which like, okay, I like truly just wanted to like get my raw reaction of this during the Super Bowl commercials.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been amazing. The St. Pete GP schedule is out, and qualifying is going to start Saturday at 2:30, and then the race is going to be Sunday at noon. Something I was thinking about is when, like, NBC Peacock did it, they would always say in the app, like, race starting at noon, and they would actually start at 12:15. Is that still going to happen with Fox? Because I remember last year when I watched St. Pete, I was like, okay, the race is starting at noon. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to hurry, I have to sit down. Because, like, for F1, like, the race is starting.
Yeah. How do they do it for football? Like, when, like, the start, do they include, like, the national anthem and all of that? No. Or is it, like, the ball is kicked at, like, 1?
The ball is being kicked at 1.
Okay, so I have a feeling it'll be the same then.
Yeah. NFL is playing on multiple channels, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what they're going to do with the commercials. I hope... Fox, can you give us picture-in-picture?
Please.
Please?
Please.
Please give us picture-in-picture.
They do that with NASCAR.
Do they?
They do a picture-in-picture.
Okay. I am...
But it's really small and it's hard to see, but at least it's something.
No, at least it's there.
Yeah.
That's my hopes and dreams for 2025 IndyCar, is that Fox gives us picture-in-picture for the commercials.
Yeah.
And that's all she wrote.
That's all. Those are our predictions. Mm-hmm. We are super, super, super excited. This will be our first full IndyCar season. We obviously followed the full one last year, but we didn't really know what was going on a lot of the time. The first, like...
I feel like I threw myself into research for IndyCar, because I got really into...
For St. Pete, too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I got really into 100 Days to Indy because of Mac Loves Motorsport.
That's right, yeah.
And I was very, very into it.
Yeah, well, I followed all of them, but I didn't really know what was going on until, like, probably 3 or 4 races in. Well,
it was also hard last year because they did St. Pete, and then they had a little break, I think, and they went to Thermal Club, which Thermal Club
I
was
do
so
actually
weird.
remember watching Thermal Club,
Yeah.
actually.
Thermal Club was so
weird. Thermal Club's a weird one, for sure.
They're doing it different this year, and I forget how, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
Let us know your IndyCar predictions, if you have any.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know how you like the episode, and we'll be back next week for another one.
Thanks
Bye.
for listening. Bye.